So now, right after the Paris terror attacks, a lot of countries, understandably, were on high alert. I mean, France temporarily closed their borders. They enacted security measures, and of course, they sent soldiers out to look for terrorists all over France and in places like Belgium as well. And of course, to help with that, the government also enacted lockdowns. Now, all of those security measures are completely understandable given the length of time since the attack and the severity of the attacks. So now, apparently, during one of these lockdowns, there were some encounters. Not with terrorists, but with members of the opposite sex. And for that, we go to Politico, who reports that soldiers and police in Brussels had allegedly held an orgy while their colleagues hunted for terrorists. I don't know where to start here. So apparently, according to officials, 8 soldiers and 2 female police officers allegedly engaged in what they call lewd acts at a police station in the neighborhood of Ganshoren, just north of Molenbeek, where officers were hunting for suspects in connection with the November 13 terrorist Paris attacks. Belgian media outlets La Dernière, Heure, and Standaard reported on Tuesday. Now remember, this was during a lockdown. They were on lockdown at the time of the incident. So they're on lockdown and they decide to get down. I see how this happens. All right. So according to the article, for 2 weeks in November, the Ganshoren station had actually been transformed into a makeshift barracks for soldiers who were patrolling the streets of Belgium after the government raised their threat level to 4. Now, the threat level being at 4, that's the highest level that they have. And on November 21st, the threat level was lowered to 3 on November 26th. Now, during that time, bars were told to close early, and restaurants and museums, shops and schools, and the entire metro system was shut down. So there wasn't really anything else to do. I mean, you couldn't go to a bar, you couldn't really do a shop. I mean, what are you going to do? Apparently, you have an orgy. Well, maybe I'm naive, but I think just because you're on lockdown with members of the opposite sex doesn't mean you're going to have to get into an orgy. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to. I'm just saying, but apparently in this case, I seem to be wrong. Apparently an orgy is the best thing to do when you're in lockdown, I guess. It's almost like the plot of a porno movie. That's what this reminds me of. Now, police spokesman Johan Berksman told De Morgan that 15 to 20 soldiers had been staying at the police station during the 2-week period and that an internal investigation had been launched into these allegations. So we don't know. It's just still all alleged. I'm not sure how they found out. Maybe they caught him mid-pile. I don't know. I don't really have the details for that. But when it comes to, do I blame them? Well, I gotta be honest. I really don't. I don't blame them for this. I mean, they shouldn't have done it. Maybe they should have, participated in an orgy in their own time. They kind of have a job to do. Their job is to hunt terrorists. And what about the poor guys or girls who were out there patrolling the streets while they were getting it on? Well, that's not fair to them. That's not fair. Look, when it comes to having orgies, I think you might want to keep it to your off time and not have one during work hours, lockdown or not. But that's just my humble opinion.